Brake tapping, getting home, already underway. It is slow going eastbound 440 over to 24 from 65, northbound 65 to the south loop, then northbound north loop up to the northern split. We do have debris in the road, 24 eastbound at Old Hickory Boulevard in Laverne. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, one and all. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, as the man just said. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you for being with us. Whatever time you're able to give us, we're certainly appreciative. My name is Matt Murphy, and we've got a full, what I hope to be informative and entertaining, robust 4 hours on this radio broadcast this Tuesday, May 12, 2026. Once again, what time you give us is up to you, and we appreciate every moment of it. We're found on a variety of platforms, and I want to tell you about those for just a moment before we get lumbering under our own weight. We call it the pleasantries on the Matt Murphy Show. You can find us on the good old radio dial. Super Talk 99.7 WTN is found on 99.7 FM from Kentucky to Alabama and all points in between. We're also on a variety of social media apps. What is going on? We're on a variety of social media applications to include iHeart, Spotify, TuneIn, our own app, Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and then, of course, Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. Find us there, like, subscribe, give us the old thumbs up. Hey, Ken Weaver, you back there in News Closet B?
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's the thumbs up costing these days?
Absolutely nothing, boys. Yeah.
The price has doubled. The price has doubled, so you better get on it before it doubles again. Speaking of doubling, I got gas today. I'm in a bad mood, boys. Y'all, I want to say something, and we're going to reintroduce to the radio listening audience and the viewing audience the long-lost prodigal son who has decided to come back to work. That's coming up. Right now, young Ryan is controlling the experience behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible. Hello, Ryan.
Hello there.
Hi, how's it going?
Well, I'm better than Custer. How you doing?
What? Well, guess so. You know the last thing that went through Custer's mind?
Sharp flint?
Arrow. Yeah, arrow. Anyway, and Ken Weaver's behind the glass, and he's delivering headlines twice an hour when it breaks. $4.19 a gallon, which was down from the $4.29 I paid last week.
Yes, sir.
And I noticed on this particular apparatus where I was getting my gas, on a particular gas pump, there was a little Trumpy Trump sticker. And you know what it said, Ken?
What's that?
It said, "I did that." And it was Trump pointing, and they had positioned it where he's kind of pointing toward the price.
At the price, yeah.
See, they're doing that. Trump, I did that, like we did with the Biden, I did that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. I didn't have anything to do with any of this, and I'm glad. I hope that somebody made a lot of money on those stickers, and I hope they're making a lot of money on the Trump stickers, too. I mean, it's America. This is a free enterprise system. But what's interesting to me are the number of people that want to push back against, I mean, this is fair play, right? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I'm a Trump man. I've been a Trump man since the guy came down the elevator. I've voted for Donald Trump 6 separate occasions. That's right, 6 separate occasions, primary and general elections included. And yeah, the gasoline prices are where they are in part because of the decision-making of this administration. We can either evaluate that it has been worth it or it has not been worth it. My evaluation is thus far, I've not seen the value in any of this. But be that as it may, I noticed it while I was getting gas, $4.19. I did that, it said. And I thought, well, that's fair political play, in my opinion. And I don't think it's that wrong. And look, if y'all get mad about that, I invite you to tell me why. It's not wrong to suggest gasoline prices are where they are. Now, we can have that discussion about whether or not this will ultimately be worth it. And my estimation as to whether or not it will be worth it is whether or not we get the enriched uranium and the Strait of Hormuz gets opened up without any sort of preconditions and without believing that Iran would have the ability to close it down again, and maintaining the commitment not to put boots on the ground. That said, the Iranian conflict continues. Donald Trump not thinking about that today. Donald Trump is in China. And look who's out of jail.
Hi.
Young Jackson Williams is back in the fold, everybody. Yay,
Brother Jackson. Welcome back, buddy.
Yay! Oh, look, that's got 2 rounds of applause. What's going on, Jackson?
I'm fine.
Are you?
I'm fine.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
You get sick of those bammers down there?
No. Some of them Flora-bammers, maybe.
Yeah. So tell us about the Greater Gulf Shores Detention Facility and Penile Complex.
You know, Ken, you know who my cellmates were?
I have no idea.
The entire Georgia Bulldogs secondary.
Oh, whoa. Oh, is that who your cellmates were?
Yeah. And Kirby bailed them out and left me in there.
That's right. That's right. That's the way it goes there, buddy boy.
I was lonely. I had made friends.
If you had not screamed GBO, you might have gotten bailed
Oh no,
out.
I was very kind. I told them I enjoyed watching them in Neyland. I brought up Chris Brazell, and then we had to be separated.
Separated, kind of like Humphreys separated himself as he got that fourth and pass. Remember that one? How was your trip?
It was awesome. We had a good time hanging out, just enjoying the beach, enjoying the weather, and came back yesterday.
Yeah. You feel fresh as a daisy?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay.
Fresh as a daisy.
So
Need to hydrate a little bit.
did you see anybody digging sex holes down there?
Nope.
Okay. You know, they made those illegal.
The tide was kind of weird. It was a very shelly sand, a lot of broken up pieces of shell. Would have been harder to.
Yeah, dig through. Mm-hmm. How was the seaweed situation? Sometimes they have seaweed problems down there at the beach.
Not much that I noticed.
I can't imagine that y'all spent a lot of time just laying out at the beach.
No, we were lucky. Our place had a beach volleyball. We played a lot of beach volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
We played a lot of different random games that we made up.
You got any sand in the cracks?
No, got all of that out this morning.
You got some sun, I noticed.
I did get some sun. I burned. We burned. So listen to this, Matt.
Okay, Jackson.
So we get there.
Ken, are you listening?
I'm listening.
Listen up.
We get there-
Ryan, you listening?
I can't stop.
All right, listen up.
We get there Friday. Beautiful day.
Mm-hmm.
We hang out. We go out. We get the necessities. We go back to the house. Go to bed. Wake up Saturday. It's raining. So we decide, we'll get some other stuff done. Just kind of hang out at the house for a while. Then we decide, you know what? We're only here 3 nights. Let's just go out to the beach. Who cares if it's sprinkling? Nothing hard, but just kind of.
Yeah.
We burned in the rain because we didn't think sunscreen. This sunburn is from Saturday when it was pouring. We burned in the rain. I've never seen that in my life.
Oh, my.
Have you ever burned in the rain? I don't know if we're all just pasty, but
Well, them UV rays are still getting through them clouds, Brother
Still get
Jackson.
through there. I've always been told, I don't know if it's an old wives' tale or not, Ken, but I've always been told that you'll burn worse on a slightly overcast day than you will in the sunshine because the UV light still gets through.
yeah, and it got us. I mean, we didn't put sunscreen on that because it's raining. I mean, you're not putting sunscreen on in the rain. So we all burned on Saturday. So we it's actually gone in now. It's actually better now. But I was lobster red the last 2 days.
Hey, you look good today, Jackson.
Thanks,
you
buddy.
look refreshed. You look like you spent some time on a concrete cot somewhere, and I'm glad that you're back. I'm happy to have you back.
God.
I look forward to defending my honor.
By the way, RJ won Nincompoops yesterday.
Oh,
Ken.
so I get to go first?
Son of a biscuit.
Or I get to pick the order?
No, you don't get to pick the
Yeah, I
order.
do.
Why would you get to pick? You left us. You haven't been here. You haven't even bothered to look at the trophy.
Well,
By the way, you'll know this. Is that the same cup? Look over there. Is that the same cup? I'm suspicious that that's a different cup. I don't know why. I haven't
Hand
se-
switched it out.
I'm suspicious that the top of that trophy is different.
it does look a little different.
It looks smaller.
It
doesn't
does look smaller.
The damn cup looks smaller, and I thought that when I got it Friday.
Hand pulled a switcheroo.
Bring it over here.
Yeah, put it on camera or something.
All right. Well, y'all talk amongst yourselves. While
So, Ken, how was your weekend?
It was all right, Brother Jackson. Just kind of hung out, celebrated my wife on Mother's Day, ate a lot of good food.
Oh, that was another thing. We were all bad sons this weekend.
Wait, did you not call your mama?
Oh no, we all called, but we were all out of town.
Uh-huh.
So
How convenient.
I didn't pick the days.
All right, so I don't know.
No,
Maybe.
that's the same one.
You think?
Is there still cereal in it?
No, it's a little.
It had some adornment about the top of it.
It's a little. It's a little sketch in there, Ken. A little sketchy.
What's
Brother
it smell
Hand.
like?
I don't want to smell it. You want to smell it?
Give it a snifferoo.
It's been around like 10-year-olds.
Give it a snifferoo.
I'm not going to give it a snifferoo.
Just a quick little snifferoo.
The last time I did that.
Just one little snifferoo.
That crap might work in Knoxville when you're in college, but it ain't working around here, buddy. You sound like a man who said that to another man before.
Just a little sniff.
Give a little sniff. Well, we're glad to have you back, Jackson.
Glad to be.
All right, while we're having a little fun at the beginning of the show, I need some help, fellas.
All right.
So,
I have a question for you real fast.
okay, fine.
Did you watch your movie?
Yeah, it's Pulp Fiction. I've seen it 100 times. Of course I've watched it.
Movie review coming tomorrow, everybody.
Come on, you had an extra day.
Matt,
Oh, you got to get the hell that you give me when I miss my movie. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Will not
did you
stand.
watch it this past weekend?
I, of course did. No, I did rewatch it because I hadn't seen it in a while, and it stands up, boy. Pulp Fiction. You ever seen Pulp Fiction, Ken?
Probably about 10 or 11 times.
Oh, my goodness. Stands up. Bring out the Gimp.
Yeah.
Gimp sleeping.
Spiders caught a fly.
Yeah, he says, bring out the Gimp. Gimp sleeping. Well, I guess you're just going to have to go wake him up now,
Wake him
ain't
up,
you?
aren't you now? What?
Don't. Watch out what happens in the back of those pawn shops. Anyway, you'll enjoy that portion of the film, I'm sure.
I can't
You know,
wait to hear
you know what? That portion of the movie might remind Jackson of his bachelor weekend this weekend at Gulf Shores. Have you seen a Jackson, over the last 72, 96 hours, have you seen a ball gag at all?
What's that?
You'll know after you watch.
I'm assuming it's something horrific because Ken's squealing like a hog back there.
You'll know. Anyway, on with the show. So this goes to my
I'm going to
question.
look what that up is on my
Oh,
phone.
goodness.
Okay, you might. Are you on the company Wi-Fi? then?
I am. We're going to do this, and if we have to explain it in a meeting, we got to explain it. You said ball gag, correct?
I did.
You're a sick man.
I'm not.
You're a sick man.
You need to talk to Quentin Tarantino.
No, you're a sick man
Yeah,
for even
yeah.
asking me. You're a sick man.
Well, I'm just, you are
sick.
Ryan has discovered the soundboard. Ryan, I don't do
Yes, he has.
Ryan, I don't do nearly as many of those as you're doing right now. So I'm just letting you know. I appreciate the participation, but one or two is good. But so here's the question.
Goodness.
I have, I'm trying to be better about putting things in my calendar, right? And when I say my calendar, I mean in my phone calendar. Y'all, do y'all use your phone calendar?
When I remember.
Well, there you go. Well, I've been better about it lately, and so I try to put things in here, and I look at it to make sure that I don't forget things, because I forget things, and I get a lot of things scheduled. And, as you might imagine, there are a lot of different events that I want to get to, and I am honored and privileged that people want me to come to events, right? And so I remember this conversation that I had with someone that asked me if I could be at a lunch next Tuesday, 1 week from today, at 11 a.m. in Columbia. Okay? And I put it in my phone as Columbia lunch event, which is on me. probably should have been more specific. This was maybe a month or so ago that this happened, and I have no idea what I'm supposed to do or where I'm supposed to go.
Or who you're going with.
Or I don't know anything. The only thing I know is I'm supposed to be somewhere in Columbia at 11 o'clock next Tuesday morning. Having lunch with somebody. And I think I'm supposed to speak at it. And it's like a Republican women's club or a Rotary. You know what I mean? It's like it's like the junior league or it's something.
Rotary's where we played baseball as a kid.
Well, sure. Well, those groups that's a collection of different organization and individuals, and they come together. And I don't know what the Rotary Club does. Do you know what the Rotary Club does, Ken?
Isn't that where a bunch of businessmen get together and
that's what I thought.
Talk about expanding their business.
Yeah, it's like a
kind of like a chamber of commerce.
Yeah, that's what Rotary Club is, right? It's business people talk about business, putting like businesses together. I mean, Rotary. That's
it's a place where they ask people to come and speak.
Hey, can you? Right. Hey, can you come over to the office Tuesday? No, I can't come Tuesday. Why not? Rotary.
Got Rotary.
Oh, well, in that case, I do the Rotary. Anyway, I got something to do. You look bored all of a sudden. No, I'm talking to you.
Oh, I was just mimicking the view of our listeners.
All I'm asking is if anybody...
I'm back, baby.
If anybody knows where I'm supposed to be next Tuesday at 11
Please
o'clock,
reach out to Matt Murphy.
Yeah.
Matt at murphyshow.com.
Matt at murphyshow.com. I'd appreciate it very much because I have no idea who I committed to go to lunch to. Matt, don't you remember you committed to buy me lunch on... See, now I'm getting a lot of that.
Yeah, we were supposed to go to lunch. I was going to drive down to Columbia. Finally found a cheap flight to Venezuela that I could...
Yes, your lunch is at my house. We're having roast beef and edibles. Oh, well, that sounds like a lot. What? You know what that means. No,
roast beef and edibles.
Somebody said I should call Debbie Matthews. No, Debbie Matthews, I did. I texted her and asked her if she was... I said, do you have a lunch next Tuesday at 11 o'clock? She said, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, all right, well, guess I got to go to the radio.
Maybe it's you and Mike at Old Hickory.
I would say that, but Mike won't go to lunch with me. For some reason, he says that sitting down with me at lunch would be like sitting down with the devil himself. Although Mike's turned a corner over the last couple of weeks. Have y'all noticed that? Mike is very subdued. I don't know. I think he's off the sauce, if you ask me. All right, 23 after the hour. We've got lots to get into. Friends, I cannot tell you how frustrating the manner in which the mainstream media treats you truly is. And I want to focus in on local news outlets. I value everything that I hear and everything that I see coming out of the SuperTalk 99.7 WTN newsroom. And I don't applaud Ken Weaver and Joan Jones merely because they are great at what they do and I consider them friends. I also applaud them because they are ready, willing, and able to tell the story without putting their thumb on the scale in any fashion. And for the most part, when mainstream media puts their thumb on the scale, it's all about what they don't tell you as opposed to what they do. And I'm going to give you an example of that we discussed at length yesterday. It is disgusting that they are not reporting the disgusting nature of the opposition to the redistricting and what happened over the last 72 hours in Nashville, Tennessee. We're going to talk about it next, 24 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy. And this time of year, man, I'm telling you, we're about to crank those ACs up. Have y'all seen the conditions for next week? I was looking at the long-term forecast, the long-range forecast, if you will. Mid to upper 80s next week in and around Middle Tennessee. That means the AC is going to be pumping, blowing and going. And if yours is not operating properly, you need to get Jeff Eddy on the job. Jeff Eddy and his team can come in and find what ails your system and make it right. A maintenance plan is essential to making sure you get maximum life for that AC unit. If you're trying to make the decision as to whether to repair it and try to get through this year or perhaps go ahead and replace, Jeff Eddy's your guy. He's never going to advise you just to let's be honest, a lot of places they default to replace because they make a little more money that way. Jeff Eddy doesn't believe in it. He doesn't do it. He wants the relationship with you to be long-term. That's why he's going to advise you in a way that gets maximum life out of that AC unit. And when it's time, it's time. They're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem, and they can recommend the right system for you and your family. They also offer financing on units if needed. They're a pro partner with Rheem. I mentioned that, and I want you to make them a call. 615-784-4424, 784-4424, or efficienthvac.net.
President Trump asked today if he considers Americans' financial situations when making decisions about the war in Iran. We'll give you his response coming up at 3:30 on SuperTalk 99.7 WTN.
All right, I'm going to get into this local media blackout on a story that we discussed yesterday on the Matt Murphy radio show, and I believe it was discussed earlier today, at least on Nashville's Morning News. I think it was. I imagine that Hand said something or another about it. I don't know. Because I was a little out of pocket earlier today. But it involves Deborah Moody, who is retiring as a representative in the House of Representatives in the General Assembly, and the awful, awful manner in which she was treated outside of the State House, and the blackout, the media blackout on reporting of this story. This would seem to be an aspect of the story that any fair-minded outlet would report on, and yet it has not been done. But I have a word of warning, a Matt Murphy public service announcement for all of you who grew up in the South. Ken, I would consider growing up in Oklahoma to be growing up. I mean, what would you consider Oklahoma? Midwest?
Southwest.
Southwest? Okay. Are you familiar with the phrase cotton picking?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Have you, and I'm telling you, I was today years old when I learned that apparently that is some sort of racial slur. According to the left, according to the Democrats.
I think I just learned that right now.
So I cannot tell you the number of times that my grandfather talked to me about my cotton picking hands or my cotton picking fingers.
Yes.
And it would even go further. You know, you get that off your cotton picking mind. Get your cotton picking head out of your cotton picking butt. Well, apparently this is a huge, racial insult or something or another. That, according to Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrat minority leader in the House of Representatives, a radio host in Virginia was speaking to a Republican member of the House of Representatives from Virginia. And that radio host said, and I don't know what radio host it was. They haven't been named, at least in the story that I saw, because I was just looking at this right before we came on air. The radio host said that Hakeem Jeffries needed to keep his cotton-picking hands off of the state of Virginia. So that was the host that said that. The sitting Republican representative apparently said either bingo or ditto, agreeing with the host. There are now Democrats that are calling on that Republican representative to resign their post in office because of the, quote, racial slur that they agreed with on this radio show.
I have never heard that as a racial slur.
I haven't either. It came from the concept of the hard work that it was to pick cotton.
Yes, sir.
But it was not in any way a slave-oriented term. These folks have reached peak stupidity. We'll talk about it in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WT and take your calls on it as well. 615-737-9986. It's time for the news on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. President Trump asked today if he considers Americans' financial situations when making decisions about the war in Iran.
The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing.
The latest inflation report out. It shows prices getting even higher than they once were. The Consumer Price Index showing prices 3.8% higher in April than they were at the same time a year ago. And we're getting a new look at how much debt Americans are carrying from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Here's Mike Dubusky.
Credit card debt in the U.S. dipped slightly in the first 3 months of the year, according to the New York Fed, with outstanding card balances now at $1.25 trillion. But analysts say decreases like this usually happen in the first quarter as people pay off holiday spending. Overall, credit card debt is up over $70 billion from last year. When you add in mortgages, car loans, and other borrowing, the debt held by U.S. households now sits at $18.8 trillion, its highest level ever. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Officials in Denver have identified a man who scaled an airport fence and walked onto a runway in front of a departing Frontier Airlines jet on Friday night. ABC's Alex Stone.
Denver's chief medical examiner says her office has identified the man as 41-year-old Michael Mott, and it's been determined it was suicide when he scaled an airport perimeter fence and walked in front of a Frontier Airlines plane departing for Los Angeles. Denver Airport CEO Phil Washington.
It took approximately 15 seconds for this person to jump over the 8-foot fence topped with barbed wire.
He says airport staff did get an intrusion alarm, but when they looked, they only saw a pack of deer outside the perimeter fence. Alex Stone, ABC News.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Complete stop and go brake tapping, eastbound South Loop, downtown, northbound 65 up to the South Loop, eastbound 440 over to 24, and then that continues eastbound 24 from 440. Both directions of the East Loop look like a parking lot right now, as does northbound North Loop. 440 going westbound before you get to 40 is backed up too. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Grace Point Healthcare. Affordable, convenient, comprehensive medicine delivered in a direct pay format. Why is that important to you? Because they keep their costs down that way. Because they don't let insurance companies dictate to their medical professionals how they treat you. And the way that they treat you is important. They don't want to just deal with the symptoms of any given issue. At Grace Point Healthcare, they're trying to get to the bottom of those issues to figure out what's going on and what's causing those issues, and they get to the root cause in that fashion. It is what they do, and it's the way that they've been acting since they opened their doors, and they will continue to do so without interference from the big insurance companies. That benefits you both monetarily and with your treatment levels. And that's why I encourage everyone to get over to Grace Point Healthcare. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way, you betcha. 599-6868 is the telephone number. 599-6868. Make the call that so many others have made. You will not have to wait lengthy amounts of time to get in, even for new patients. And you certainly don't have to wait in the waiting areas. Once you get there, they get you back very quick. They understand that your time is valuable, and they respect that time. Go to Grace Point Healthcare. I know you'll be happy you did. Bring the whole family with you. 599-6868, located in the heart of Franklin. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and I want to spend a moment talking to you about Nashville Safe House. Nashville Safe House has more safes than you can really than you can count. It might take you an entire afternoon to count them all, and if you'd like, Mark and his team, Jill, the rest of the gang, they'll let you do that. You walk through the doors, and you will say in their showroom area more safes than every other so-called competitor of Nashville Safe House combined. They've been doing this for 34 years. And in 34 years, Mark has learned a thing or two. They keep their safes in stock to make sure that they have an available safe for you when you want it and when you need it. You buy a safe to protect the valuables that you cherish. You protect your loved ones through protecting your guns and those things that protect you and your property. Obviously, a safe is a very important investment, and they take it very seriously. at Nashville Safe House. So they have the safe that's right for you. They have all of the name brands like Browning, largest Browning dealer in the United States of America, Fort Knox, Champion, Superior, Rhino, and the list goes on and on. Once again, they've got the right safe for you. This is what they do. They do safes, they do vault doors, tornado shelters, and that's it. Nashville Safe House, located on 4th Avenue in Nashville. Go by and see them and tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Nashville Safe House. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Coming up at 4:30 today, we have a very special guest stopping by to tell you about the Spirit of the Country concert and broadcast series that is happening. I guess it's this Friday. The 2026 Spirit of the Country concert and broadcast series is this Friday, May 16th. At the official ACM Awards Radio Remote in Las Vegas. Well, I'm going to let Stokes tell you all about it. Chris Jansen is going to be, I guess it's not this Friday, it's May 20th. I said it wrong. May 20th, in honor of the Spirit of the Country, we've got an event called Justice for Our Daughters, which is a free show starring country star Chris Jensen. And I said it right the first time, Murphy, get it right. It'll take place in Williamson County at the Performing Arts Center in Franklin, May 20th. So it is a week from tomorrow. 6 o'clock, Spirit of the Country supports an organization called Justice for Our Daughters, fighting tirelessly to prosecute sexual predators and to protect victims of human trafficking. So we're going to talk to a good friend of the show about that coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Talk to you on the phone, 615-737-9986. So the political left has absolutely gone insane over the redistricting that continues across the United States of America. They're going particularly bonkers because they did not follow the rules in Virginia, and they have been slapped down as a result, and they don't know what to do about that. And so in Virginia, as conversation went on about what they are trying to do, and if you haven't heard, what Hakeem Jeffries hatched up was that he wants the Virginia legislate. So these Democrats that claim to love democracy so much, they are willing to destroy the basic foundational building blocks of democracy for the purpose of getting their W, getting their win. And what their plan is, I'm not making this up, and I think they've gone away from this now because they realize how ridiculous it is. The plan was to pass a law in the Virginia legislature that would cap the max age of any sitting Supreme Court justice at 54. The reason that they would cap it at 54 is because right now every justice on the Virginia Supreme Court is over 54. Their purpose would be to pass a law saying you may not be over 54 and serve on the Virginia Supreme Court. Then they would immediately turn around and boot every member of the Virginia Supreme Court off the Supreme Court and then reappoint individuals, but only individuals who are committed to overturning the ruling that the current Virginia Supreme Court just came out with involving the legality of the redistricting vote they just had in Virginia. Are y'all following me so far? So these Democrats that run around screaming about, this is what democracy looks like, this is what democracy looks like. Those Democrats that run around screaming about how Donald Trump's an authoritarian and Donald Trump is the end of democracy as we know it. And they love using the D word. They hate using the CR word, constitutional republic, but that's a different story for a different day. They run around talking about how sacrosanct the idea of democracy is, and they are willing to do everything and anything to blow it up. These same knuckleheads that with a straight face will tell you that they cherish and value democracy are willing to undermine an equal branch of government in the state of Virginia because that equal branch did not agree with what they did, which was clearly illegal. Illegal based on laws that they passed, the same legislative body. in Virginia, and I won't get too much into the weeds or into the details, but for those who don't know, for example, in the state of Tennessee, it is my understanding, and I believe I have this right, that in order to get a voter measure before the people of the state of Tennessee, the legislative body, the General Assembly, has to pass it twice. The first time, I think it's a simple majority, and the second time it's a supermajority, if I'm not mistaken. Someone who understands the General Assembly will correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure. But I do know that it has to go through 2 sessions of the General Assembly, and then it goes to the ballot, to the people. So, for example, if you wanted to, and I'm not suggesting they're going to do this anytime soon, but if you wanted to make slot machines legal in the state of Tennessee, if you wanted slot machines in our state, those are legalized games of chance, and it is currently illegal to have them in this state. In order to legalize those, you would require a constitutional amendment. By the way, little side note, games of skill do not require a constitutional amendment. So the state of Tennessee's General Assembly could actually pass legislation on its own that would allow table games in the state of Tennessee without having to do it twice, without having to go to a constitutional amendment. I just had a conversation with somebody about this last night, which is an interesting quirk within the law. Yes, Young Jackson.
What about them bubble craps? Is that skill or chance?
We're quarter pushers.
Now, the slot machines are games of chance. Bubble craps, I think, would be referred to as a game of skill.
You're right, it is.
I hesitate to say that to you because I don't think there's any skill involved when you're sucking down free vodka cranberries at 2 o'clock in the morning. Just look at them things. Woo. Anyway, that's just a little bit of a side note. But much like the state of Tennessee, the state of Virginia requires 2 readings in 2 individual meetings of the General Assembly in order for something along the lines of redistricting to go to the people. They're the ones that created that law. And instead of dismantling that law before they moved forward with their effort to redistrict, they decided just to move forward with their effort to redistrict. And they were told repeatedly by constitutional scholars, this isn't going to work. You're blatantly violating the very laws that this legislative body wrote, and they did it anyway. And this is why on a 4-3 vote, and it should have been 7-0, on a 4-3 vote, the Virginia Supreme Court said, no, you can't do this. Obviously, you can't do this. You wrote the laws. We didn't write the laws. You wrote the laws. And now Democrats are freaking out so much about it that they've actually they are floating the idea of attempting to remove every single Supreme Court justice off the bench in the state of Virginia as a result, and to replace them with individuals only after they pass the litmus test of dedicating themselves to overturning the ruling that just came down the pike by the Virginia Supreme Court. Do you understand how anti-constitutional that is? If you are willing to blatantly flaunt the power of the legislative body over and above the power of the judicial branch, which ought to be a co-equal branch of government, what is the judicial branch there for but to determine when the very body itself is violating the very laws that they passed? It makes 0 sense. Yet Democrats don't make any sense anymore. Now, contrast that with the way that the state of Tennessee did it, and kudos to this state for recognizing they had a law in place in the 1970s that would prevent them from redistricting in off years between census. They repealed that law first. They got it to the governor's desk first. He signed that law first. Otherwise, what the state of Tennessee did would have been illegal. But they recognized that, and they repaired it on the front end as opposed to asking for forgiveness on the back end, which doesn't work in the eyes of the law. Y'all follow me so far? And with all of this in mind, Hakeem Jeffries is sticking his nose in all of this where he doesn't belong. He's a damn congressman from New York. What does he have to do with this? Except that they are trying to, by any means necessary, by hook or crook, cobble together a coalition of the majority in order to stymie the last 2 years of the Trump administration. And with that in mind, they're like, well, just boot him off. Whatever. So a talk show host out of Virginia has a representative out of Virginia on, and he says that Hakeem Jeffries needs to mind his own cotton-picking business or keep his cotton-picking hands off the state of Virginia, I think is what he said. And now suddenly we're being told that that term is racist. I've been using that term all of my life. I listened to my grandfather use that term all of his life. It is a Southernism that most of us grew up with, and I have never once considered it to be a racially oriented term, nor have I've never heard anyone use it in a racially derogatory fashion. The term originated from the idea of your cotton-picking hands, meaning that the manual labor involved in picking cotton is very, very difficult. And it is going to roughen your hands and callous your hands considerably. But it has expanded to, cotton-picking hands, cotton-picking brain, cotton-picking mind, whatever. Only today are they claiming that it is somehow racially derogatory, which is just stupid. They've got no other refuge than using the old, worn-out, tired page from their playbook involving racism. When left with no other logical argument, when left with nothing else to say, just scream that the person that you're talking to is racist, and it absolves you of any obligation to make any damn sense whatsoever. That's the way the Democrats play it. I've long said this about our friends on the political left. Conservatives fight. That's fine. I consider myself a small L libertarian. We fight. That's fine. Conservatives, that's fine. Liberals are groups of people that earnestly believe that if you were just a little bit smarter or a little less racist, you would agree with them. If you disagree politically or ideologically on any issue with a liberal, with a true liberal, with that liberal mind rot, ultimately, if you have a discussion with a liberal, it will get to a point where they will explain to you that if you were just a little bit smarter or a little less racist, you would agree with them. And that is the end of that story. 53 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you for being with us. Back in a moment. Whether you're a first-time homeowner, a growing family, or just shopping for better automobile rates, I want to make it simple for you. Call the best. Call King & Associates Insurance. You don't deal with pushy salespeople. They don't beg of you to do something that you maybe think is not in your best interest. Just honest advice, personalized service, and policies that make sense. Whether it's homeowners or automobile insurance or perhaps life insurance or commercial insurance, they do it all at King & Associates Insurance, and frankly, they do it better. They work for you. They're independent. That means that they shop around to all of the insurance companies available to you, and they find the right rates for you. They find the right coverage for you and for your company if that's what you're looking for. Visit them at kinginsurance.com, kinginsurance.com, or give them a call today at 329-8121, 329-8121. King & Associates Insurance, protecting what matters most.
President Trump says the war on Iran is worth it to keep them from getting a nuclear weapon, and that Americans understand the economic pain that goes along with it. That's coming up at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I love our guy, but I just disagree with it. And it's okay to disagree on some matters, even as you support most of the other policies of Donald J. Trump's presidency of the United States of America. I believe that he was sold a bill of goods by the military complex. I believe in selling him that bill of goods. They have put the midterms at further risk. And I don't know that the majority of the American people, regardless of their political persuasion, understand why exactly we're paying $4.20 a gallon for gasoline in the middle of the state of Tennessee without seeing any appreciable results that will benefit the United States of America in the long term. And I think it is a fair conversation to have. Your thoughts, 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. We'll get into it right after the news, and the news happens right now with Ken Weaver in News Closet B on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Four o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and a traffic update coming up in 5 minutes. President Trump today, when asked if he thinks about Americans' finances when making decisions about the war in Iran, said the only thing he is thinking about is Iran not getting a nuclear weapon.
They're not going to have a nuclear weapon. Now, if the stock market goes up or down a little bit, the American people understand it.
Now, the latest data on inflation showing a sharp 3.8% increase in prices over a year ago. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze says that includes grocery prices.
Eggs are a bright spot. They're down more than 50% for a dozen eggs in the past year, but pretty much everywhere else we are seeing prices up across the board, including for groceries. A big jump in grocery prices in this April report.
U.S. household debt has hit a new record, reaching $18.8 trillion at the start of this year, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York's latest quarterly report. But credit card debt dipped slightly after the holidays. Overall delinquency rates remained steady, but student loan delinquencies continue to climb. And we're waiting to see if anything comes from President Trump suggesting a suspension of the federal gas tax to help Americans. Rachel Scott.
The president now considering suspending the federal gas tax, which could lower prices some 18 cents per gallon.
It's a small percentage, but it's still money.
But President Trump will need the help of Congress to do that. Republican Senate Majority Leader John Thune says in the past he's not been a fan of the idea. But if President Trump wants to make the argument, I'm sure everybody will give him a chance and hear him out. Meanwhile, some Democrats argue it would only be a short-term fix.
Here in Middle Tennessee, Gas Buddy puts the average per gallon at $4.16. Also in Middle Tennessee, facing what he calls his toughest budget yet. Clarksville Mayor Joe Pitts is pushing for a 31-cent property tax hike and reduced school funding. News Channel 5 says the mayor says the city needs more revenue to keep up with growth and quality of life demands. The school system says the cut could force difficult choices, especially with the new elementary school opening this fall. Clarksville City Council will decide whether to approve or change the proposal next month. And the latest automotive recall won't be troubling any drivers, ABC's Mike Dubusky tells us.
Waymo has voluntarily recalled nearly 3,800 of its self-driving cars, according to a new filing with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. It comes after some of the company's robo-taxis drove onto flooded roadways in San Antonio and became stuck. The cars won't have to be taken into a service station. Waymo says it can fix the issue with an over-the-air software update. A Waymo spokesperson tells ABC News it's limiting access to areas where flash flooding might occur. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, drivers, we have got complete stop and go brake tapping underway. Northbound North Loop, it looks like eastbound South Loop, and then northbound 65. Actually, both directions 65 between the South Loop downtown and I-440. And, of course, eastbound I-440 over to 24. And then it is like a parking lot eastbound 24 from I-440. Got a crash at 40 eastbound near Church Street, then 65 northbound before Vietnam Veterans Boulevard and Antioch Pike at Harding Place. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. This is hour number 2 of the Matt Murphy Show for a Tuesday edition, May 12. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope your afternoon's going great. Man, oh man, if you've not been outside, it is absolutely gorgeous out of door. What is the, what do you got in there, Ken Weaver, as the current temperature?
What's those real feels?
Let's not talk like that.
Let's see here, boys. We've got just a few clouds and 80 degrees.
That's getting a little warm.
Murphy, you're going to love this. I've got to mention this, okay?
Oh, no.
All right, so you're going to love this.
Uh-huh.
Because you're going to say you are justified in your thinking.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
The real feel or the real temperature is 80 degrees.
Yes.
The heat index, 79.
What?
So what does that mean?
It
feels cooler than... It's colder than it actually is.
Well, that means we got a little wind, Ken, a little chill in the air.
Oh, you're saying that the wind chill is 79?
Yes, we're at wind chill because it chilled the air. I need that in the next news report, Weaver.
All of you people stop telling me how I feel about the temperature. Thank you.
It feels like 79 and you're going to like it.
How can that be, though? How can the heat index be lower than the actual...
It's not a heat index, Ken. It's a wind chill. I got something to talk about.
Jackson is. Well, excuse me, y'all. We'll get back to your telephone calls and content in just a moment. Jackson, yes, sir. Good to have you back. By the way,
yes, sir.
I'm sure you didn't miss me.
I'm glad that. I'm glad you were able to bail out.
It was tough. You didn't even send me a hay penny.
No, the way that you asked me for the money was all wrong. I had to teach you a hard lesson in life.
I wrote you a letter, my dearest Matthew.
Yeah, we suggested yesterday that actually it was RJ that said that you were probably currently penning a letter from a Gulf Shores jail, a la Martin Luther King. Be that as it may, your subject.
Oh, Weaver, you remember me and Murphy riding that Waymo?
Yes, I do.
I saw one of them on my way into work today, and guess what was going on?
What?
It was being driven by a person.
Really?
And I believe something's afoot.
What do you mean something's afoot?
I think that's just what happens when there's no rider in the vehicle. It's all an optical illusion.
What, are they using mirrors?
No, they're hiding in the floorboard.
Maybe they've just got a bunch of midgets that are driving. Oh, can I say that? Can I not say that?
You know when Ken goes, oh.
Yeah.
It means he said something back.
When Ken goes, I'm going to do the news, boys.
When Ken,
I just do the news, boys.
When it sounds like you've punched Ken in the kidney.
All right.
And that means he said something you shouldn't have.
Anyway, so wait a minute. You saw somebody driving a Waymo?
I did.
I didn't think that could happen.
And at first I thought, they're probably just sitting in the driver's seat because they think it's. But no, they were steering.
Well, did you just hear my newscast?
No, I did not, Ken.
They have to recall them.
All of them?
Well, 38,000 of them, because apparently they were driving into floodwaters in San Antonio.
Oh, well.
You know what Charles Barkley says about San Antonio?
Yes.
What Charles Barkley said about San Antonio?
Don't do it, Brother Jackson.
I'm not.
Don't do it.
I don't want to get you in trouble. I don't think I've ever heard
It
of
was something about nobody wants to go to San Antonio.
Well, there's something about the birds flying upside down in San Antonio. That's all
It was something about the women being rather large.
Oh, okay. All right, sure. Okay, then.
We can play it.
No. I'm just backing out of this room.
He said it on TV, so it's airable.
Oh.
I'm sure it is. Chuck gets away with saying things that we wouldn't get away with saying.
Yes,
We wouldn't.
he does.
He's cotton picking funny. Can I say that? No, I guess I can't.
I've never, ever heard that term being a racist term.
No, I mean, it is.
Ever.
My goodness gracious. They need, you know what? Hakeem Jeffries, we all need to band together and buy Hakeem Jeffries a little stepladder. Do you know why? Because he's reaching. He's reaching. And he needs a stepladder. That said, that's a shame that you saw the Waymo. I would assume that the Waymo had some sort of driverless error, and so they have a reset where the driver can take it back to home base. Is what I would do.
Did you make eye contact with the driver, Brother Jackson?
I did, and I waved.
Did they wave back?
No, she didn't.
Wait, what if it's full and you just want to sit in the front seat?
You can
She
sit
was
in the
steering.
You can sit in the front seat. You can't sit in the driver's seat.
Can't you
Not
crawl
allowed.
over the console?
You can if you want to, Ken. I think I would guess. Now we've been in one. I was in the front seat and then I was in the back seat. It's more disconcerting when you are in the back seat. No, wait, front seat. I didn't like front seat as much as I liked the back seat. The back seat, whatever. There's just nobody there. Front seat, there's a lot of things going on, and you're in the front, and you've got no control, and it was just weird. But, yeah, I don't think I would imagine that there's a fail-safe.
Yeah, there's got to be some sort of sensor.
Yeah, where if you got into the actual driver's compartment, it would just shut the car down, is what I would guess. But I don't know. But I don't know what would have to be going on with a Waymo that would include someone having to drive it back to home base. I know this. We're going to ruin the nice things that we have in this community by complaining about and nitpicking the smaller stuff. Folks, nobody's died. To my knowledge, Ken, have there been any accidents with Waymos in Nashville?
Not that I know of.
I think we would hear about them.
Yes, sir, we would.
I feel like that would be a major news story on Super Talk 99.7 WTN if it occurred. And yet, all people want to do is complain about them getting confused over pedal taverns. You know who gets confused over pedal taverns? Matt Murphy. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with those damn things.
You're supposed to stick your head out the window and go, woo!
Woo! Don't be a bear. Y'all are driving and drinking at the same time, which seems odd. I mean, doesn't it seem odd? They're technically driving.
I would not. Who wants to do that while you're enjoying a beer? I don't want to work while I'm drinking.
Here's what I would do, Ken. I would just make life miserable on that poor fella. I mean, I'm assuming that they have some sort of mechanized ability
They do.
to.
They can take over if they have to.
I would assume that. And so I would just get a group of people and I would tell everyone in my group, we're not peddling a damn thing, fellas. I don't care what he says and I don't care how he says it. You do nothing. It's his job to make this thing go and we'll tip him after.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's just, is that it, Jackson? Is that the entire story? Can I get back to content?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, thank you, Jackson. I appreciate that. You just chime in anytime you're ready.
Okay. What's the real feels once again,
Oh,
Ken?
jeez. Okay, I take it back. Don't chime in anytime you're ready. Chime in when I tell you you're allowed to. Let's talk to David in Franklin. David, it's your turn on the Matt Murphy Show.
guys.
Hey,
How
how
y'all
are you?
doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Hello?
Yes, sir. We're here. Hello? David.
Hello?
Hey, David. David, can you not hear me? David. Let me. Well, David hung up. Well, David, I could, if you're listening on the radio, David, I could hear you just fine. For some reason, you could not hear me. You give us a call back, and we'll try to get back to your telephone call momentarily. In the meantime, MC is next. Hello, MC. Hello.
MC.
MC.
MC going once.
MC going twice. MC going 3 times. All right, we're 2 for on the telephone calls, so maybe we'll reset those and get back to our business and perhaps get more of your calls coming in here in just a moment. 615-737-9986. Here's we did not play this on air yesterday, and kudos to Dan Mandis for taking the time, which was, I imagine, considerable.
Yes, sir.
In bleeping this. This was a piece of video footage that I first saw over the weekend. We talked about it yesterday. It is Representative Deborah Moody leaving the special session of the Tennessee General Assembly, moving out of the House of Representatives chamber, ultimately out of the State House itself, and attempting to go down the stairs and go toward Cordell Hull, where her offices are. The video itself was about a 2-minute video. I have about 30 seconds of audio that I think is representative of the entirety of the video. Pardon me. What you are listening to is some of the nastiest harassment that I have seen engaged in a long, long time. Just listen to a little bit of this.
You racist pieces of shit. You. You're gonna fall over and die. Help you fall down the stairs, you raggedy bitch. Racist pieces of shit. Old asses can't even make it down the stairs. Raggedy mother. I hope you trip and break your ankle. You racist mother.
That is 30 seconds of what was not just 2 minutes. The video was 2 minutes long. The entirety of the trip was more like 10 minutes. An older representative elected to the House of Representatives in the General Assembly in the state of Tennessee was verbally and physically harassed from the moment she left the State House till the moment she got to Cordell Hull. Screaming the most awful, disgusting things imaginable at this poor woman. I want to know when the mainstream media outlets in the city of Nashville are going to speak to leaders within the Democrat Party and ask them if they condone this sort of behavior. I want to hear from Representative Justin Jones and Representative Justin Pearson and Representative Gloria Johnson and Representative Karen Camper and R.J. Clemens, or J.R. Clemens, and Bo Mitchell and Afton Bain and all of the rest of them. I want to hear from Charlene Oliver over in the Senate. I want to know if these leaders within the Democrat Party condone this sort of language and condone this sort of behavior. I want to know why these intrepid reporters at News Channel 5 and WKRN Channel 2 and WSMV Channel 4, who, in the interest of disclosure, we partner with on weather and news at Supertalk 99.7 WTN and Fox 17. I looked this morning and I looked just before the show this afternoon, and I have yet to see a single. If I have missed it, please correct me. I've seen not one single story about this incident. Now ask yourself, if Justin Jones or Gloria Johnson or any of these Democrats were treated like this by Republicans or conservatives, if you had awful people screaming awful things at them, we would not stop seeing it on the television news. Yet they refuse to report it, and they know about it, and they know about it. Now, it's about time that you and I got angry over this. And I don't shy away from my frustration, and I don't shy away from my anger when it comes to things like this. We ought to be angry. They are intentionally refusing to report the news. Why? Why would you not report that people who came to protest the special session told Deborah Moody that they hoped her family was raped. Why wouldn't you report that, News Channel 5? Why does Phil Williams not report when hate comes to the state capitol? He runs an investigative series on News Channel 5 called Hate Comes to Main Street. Well, if that's not hatred, I don't know what is. You tell me.
Racist! You racist pieces of shit! You! Fuck you! You're gonna fall over and die. Hope you fall down the stairs, you raggedy bitch! A pedophile that didn't even rape racist pieces of shit! Old asses can't even make it down the stairs. Raggedy mother. I hope you trip and break your ankle. You racist mother.
And it just goes on and on and on. Now, why are they screaming and yelling in the fashion that they are? Because Deborah Moody represented her constituents, and in doing so, she voted in favor of a redistricting plan that would split Memphis from 1 congressional representative to 3. Why do you think these media outlets have decided not to air this part of the story? Can you conceive of, regardless of your politics, regardless of where you are on redistricting, I imagine that if you disagree with the idea of how this is going down, that you and I could have a reasonable debate or a reasonable discussion as to why you disagree. But tell me how this is not a legitimate part of the story. If you're going to show Justin Jones burning something in the state capitol, if you're going to show Justin Pearson's brother being escorted out by state troopers, why wouldn't you show this? Because you've obviously picked winners and losers. You've obviously decided amongst your editorial team who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. Is that your job? We'll speak to you about this in a moment. It's 22 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Would you like to know about a place where European Auto Repair does not feel like European Auto Repair? Well, I have the place. I'll tell you, the moment you walk into Eurofix, you notice they're not your typical garage, friends. Their waiting rooms are clean and comfortable. You'd love to sit there. Heck, you could eat there. Service areas are spotless because Eurofix cares about everything from how you're treated to how your vehicle is treated. Every repair comes with a rock-solid 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all repairs that they perform. And at below dealer pricing. You don't have to put up with dealer pricing or getting ghosted when waiting on a callback. Eurofix fixes everything European, plus you get a rental car available with every appointment. Locations in Nashville, Franklin, Belmead, Murfreesboro, and Mount Juliet. 844-EUROFIX. That's 844-EUROFIX, or visit online at MyEuroFix.com. MyEuroFix.com for our friends at Eurofix.
President Trump, before departing the White House for China, says he thinks the war on Iran is necessary and Americans understand the economic pain that comes with it. This story and more at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm going to get away from politics in a couple of minutes and talk with Stokes Nielsen, who is announcing his Spirit of the Country concert and broadcast series. And I'm very, very proud that he is stopping by our studio to talk about some of what's going on at the Williamson County Performing Arts Center, happening on the 20th of this month, so a week from tomorrow. That's coming up right after that newscast that Ken Weaver just told you about on Super Talk 99.7 WT. And until then, what about it? Let's talk to, who's next? I think MC has rejoined us. Hello, MC. How are you?
Hello, Mr. Murphy. How are you doing?
I'm fabulous. Thank you for calling.
Thank you for accepting my call. I'm living large here in the just south of District 69, the home of Jody Barrett, and I wanted to comment on our social justice warriors who are intimidating old white women.
Okay.
Not necessarily old, but you know what I'm saying. 69-year-old white women who have served their state well for years and just want to go home, which is what Deborah Moody is.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You know that. But do you have any of the identities of the intimidators?
No. Sadly, no. I would love to find that out. I mean, obviously, when you see an unfortunate example of role reversal in something like this, if the roles were reversed, if this were someone being harassed that was a Democrat, particularly an African American Democrat, and obviously if the intimidators were out and about, you would see a never-ending white folks. You'd see a never-ending search to try to find their identities, to identify them, and to shame them appropriately.
Right. I want to say one thing. Cotton picking was an honorable act of labor, and it was done by whites and blacks. Now, as an opportunity, it was a better opportunity for African Americans because white people might could do other things. But Roy Clark, you remember Roy?
I do, of course. Yes.
Yeah,
great guitar player.
He was awesome banjo guitar. He had a song where he talked about "I never picked cotton," and Lightning Hopkins, the great blues player, said, "I never pulled no corn, I never picked no cotton." And it was just a thing about pride. Well, not everybody was able to avoid that kind of labor. And it's an honorable job. It was before cotton pickers. They were replaced by machinery. And it's just part of Americana.
Well, and this is obviously a turn of phrase that has come into popular and common vernacular, particularly in the American South. And
exactly.
it does not in any way designate any sort of racial. I mean, it's just ridiculous, and it's a stretch.
Yes, I understand.
Honestly.
I want to move on from that, though. I want to ask Jackson if he was in the Baldwin County Jail in Alabama or if he was in the Escambia County Jail in Florida, because I know which one I would rather been in.
Or
it's the Alabama side.
Jackson is off mic right now, MC, but Jackson tells me both, right? Yeah, he said both.
I can imagine that Paradiso Key, which means the lost key, that's where the Floribama bar is. And you may have been there. I've been there more than once.
That's where Jackson was this weekend.
Exactly. He must have been at a bachelor's party, right? Maybe. Maybe not.
Well, he was he was at a bachelor party. Yeah, MC, I got to scoot, and look, I'm sorry that I got to run so fast. I thank you for the call as always, but I've got to get to the news. The news waits for no man, not even this one. Ken Weaver anxiously anticipates delivering some headlines for you, and we'll get back to your calls after we speak to our good friend Stokes Nielsen, who is let me tell you. This is a great event that we're going to tell you about. We're going to get away from the world of politics and talk about Spirit of the Country. That's coming up next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. President Trump, before departing the White House for China today, says he thinks the war on Iran is necessary to keep Iran from having a nuclear weapon. And he says Americans understand the economic pain is worth it.
President Trump Tuesday said Americans' financial situation was not even a little bit of a motivating factor for him to reach a deal to end the 11-week war in Iran, despite the inflation report out today.
The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing.
I asked the president to clarify. Is he not considering the financial impact of this war on Americans? He again said the most important thing by far is Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Asked about the pressure on Americans now with higher prices, he told me every American understands. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Latest inflation report shows a sharp uptick in prices, the fastest pace since 2023. Prices in April 3.8% higher than April a year ago. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze says they're virtually in every area, and households are also carrying more debt.
The concern here is that when you look at this inflation data, now you have prices going up faster than people's paychecks. So it becomes a lot harder to absorb those higher prices if your salary is not also going up. That had not been the case for a couple years now. The fact that we're starting to see those prices outpace take-home pay is really a red flag in the overall economy.
Turning to sports, a sad note, Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clark has died at the age of 29. Authorities say paramedics responded to a medical emergency last night in the San Fernando Valley where Clark was pronounced dead. Investigators say drug paraphernalia was found in the home. The death is being investigated as a possible overdose. An autopsy will determine the official cause and manner of death. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. We've got crashes. One is blocking the left lane, 24 eastbound at Briley Parkway South in Glencliff. Capitol View, 40 eastbound near Church Street. Rivergate, 65 northbound before Vietnam Veterans. In Antioch, Murfreesboro Pike at Mountain View Road. And then over by the airport, this crash involves injury. Murfreesboro Pike at Ezell Pike. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll get back to politics and the news of the day coming up in just a moment, although I would suggest that this is as important a subject and as important a conversation as we're going to have all afternoon. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show, 439 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I got a call. It was just this morning I got a call from my buddy Dave who said, hey, your friend Stokes Nielsen is wanting in to talk about a big event that's coming up next week. And I said, I'm all in. The door is always open for Stokes. Y'all know him. He's a singer. He's a songwriter. He's a producer. He does all things in every aspect of country music. And he is putting on a pretty cool thing called the Spirit of the Country Concert Series. And he is in our studio to talk about it. Stokes, what is going on, my brother? Stand by. You got him? Stokes, what is going on, my brother?
Hey, man, great to see you, Matt. And first off, I want to thank you because actually when we first started about how the power of music could, save lives and be involved with things around here, you were one of the first guys on board. First thing we did was the law enforcement morale building appreciation concerts. Shout out Sheriff Hughes out there in Williamson County.
That's right.
And then the second thing we did was military appreciation. And then this is the third, which is about saving lives and really having artists unite to save lives. First, it was taking on the fentanyl epidemic, which I don't know if all you guys know, but in 2023, Nashville was ranked the second highest fentanyl death city per capita in America, which is absolutely unacceptable. And so we as musicians kind of went into high gear to get the word out about that. And then the DEA asked me if I would come up with a concert to address that, and that was global in nature. It's called Spirit of the Country Uniting to Save Lives. It'll be out on Fox on June the 6th. And then TBI, my good friends over there, Director Roush and Josh Melton, incredible leaders in law enforcement, reached out and said, hey, human trafficking is really aligned with drug trafficking. Mm-hmm. And would you consider doing something to take that on? And so I teamed up with an organization called Justice for Our Daughters, and we're doing a concert on next Wednesday in Franklin, Williamson County Performing Arts Center. And it's free, by the way. It's free, and it stars one of the best, I think, entertainers in country music, Chris Jansen. If anybody hasn't seen Chris live, he's absolutely amazing. And it's all about raising awareness and letting people know that this is an issue that is happening in our backyard, and everybody needs to be aware of it. And we need prosecution of the people that are doing this. Sexual predators must be prosecuted. They must be brought to justice, and we must defend the most vulnerable in our community.
Well, I know you said a mouthful there, obviously, Stokes, but first and foremost, your effort in this space has been such a wonderful blessing. And what I think of you doing, and I know that it's a lot of hard work, but there are a lot of parties, whether it's TBI, law enforcement, our military folks, that want to raise awareness on one side of things, fentanyl, obviously, human trafficking, obviously. And there are a lot of people on the entertainment side that want to help.
Exactly.
They just have no idea how to help.
Exactly.
They have no idea what to do, and you kind of bridge those two communities.
Well, Matt, I'm glad you brought it up because I want to give a shout out to Ella Langley. I want to give a shout out to Cody Johnson. I want to give a shout out to Old Dominion. I want to give a shout out to BTS in Korea and Blackpink in Korea and Måneskin in Italy. When I reached out to them, Matt, they said, absolutely.
Right.
We'd love to help you with this. And I think there has been a little bit of a disconnect between public policy and what I would call like the second responders, which is musicians, influencers. You're one of them. You've got a lot of audience that follows you and cares about what you say. And if we can help law enforcement and these incredible community groups who are taking on these issues by getting the word out to people, then we should do that. I'll bring up one example of this. When TBI came to me and said, hey, would you think about being involved? I did some research, and I found a case of a man from Medicine Hat, Canada, who had started grooming an 11-year-old in the United States for 4 years. Finally, they caught him. Finally, FBI, TBI, all these people swung into action, got him, made sure the Canadians arrested him, right? They arrested him, Medicine Hat. I was up in Calgary looking at a place to do a Spirit of the Country, Calgary, and I decided I'm going to go down to Medicine Hat, check on the case. You want to know how many days that guy has spent in jail since April of 2024?
A lot, I hope.
0.
What?
So he's not seen 1 day in jail. I went down there and I said, okay, well, when's the court case? Well, the court case is in March of this year. I said, really? That was the end of last year. I said, I'll be there. I showed up, man. Guess what? No Tyler Clark. No attorney. The attorney shows up on a WebEx and says, we're not ready for the case. Can you just boot it down the line, which they did to April. By the way, the wonderful people of Medicine Hat said, Stokes, thank you for coming here, but we don't need to. You can just WebEx in next time. So I WebExed in on the April thing, same thing, booted it to May. Then on May 5th, they booted it again into July. I said, that's absolutely unacceptable. We have to raise the awareness on this. We as the public, we have to step in and demand accountability. And this is just one of the many examples that's out there that people are just unaware about. So I hope that people will come down to Franklin on Wednesday, the 20th, come to the Williamson County Performing Arts Center. And then, number one, you're going to see great country music with Chris Janson. But also, you're going to become part of the team. You're going to become part of the family and the group that's taking these things on, because this is unacceptable. Our kids cannot be treated like that. We have to protect the most vulnerable in our community.
Well, and you know, Chris is so wonderful to offer his time to the effort and to the event. But that is a way to open the door, come on in, enjoy the music, enjoy the entertainment, have a great time, but open your eyes and open your heart and open your spirit to accept what's going on behind closed doors. I know that we don't want to think about it. And you and I were talking right before we came on air.
Nobody wants to talk about it.
Nobody wants to talk about the human trafficking and the amount of danger that exists online. You brought this up right before, and I want you to talk about it to the folks.
Yeah.
The danger that presents itself every single day, right there in your home with that computer monitor.
My thing is, if one person listens to this and says, you know what, I'm actually going to talk to my daughter about, has she seen anything strange come up? Has she, my daughter's 18 right now, but around that time that this girl was going through her thing, she was 12, she was 13, only by the grace of God was it not my daughter, or, and so I think parents just have to understand this is so pervasive and it is out there. And then here's the second thing, is like when we catch these guys, they got to pay for it.
Yep.
All my friends in Calgary, you know what they're saying? They're saying you need to start a movement to extradite this guy, because you know what? If you get charged in Williamson County, guess what? You go to jail.
Yeah.
Sheriff used that team over there. They won't stand for it. And so I feel like we just have to be more vigilant in this effort,
The organization, you mentioned the organization Justice for Our Daughters.
Justice for Our Daughters, and I would say they excel at bringing predators to justice. Peter Nygaard was one of these Epstein type guys, and they spent years bringing him down. He is now in jail and will never get out of jail. And kudos to the whole Justice for Our Daughters team. And that's why I wanted to support that. I will say, if you're out there listening right now, if you're watching online, if you go to spiritofthecountry.com, there's a button right there that just says, hey, do you want to spend May 20th with us in Franklin, Tennessee? Click on it, and then it's free. It's free, and we'll get you a ticket. We'll get you a spot in there. And again, I do want to thank Chris for doing this. I also want to thank all of the incredible team at TBI. By the way, there's a human trafficking division in Brentwood at the Brentwood PD.
Folks, I don't mean to interrupt your train of thought, but with the TBI piece,
yes,
and I think if you think about this, you'll get it, that why we are kind of a human trafficking hub, and it's really because of I-40. Right, I mean that cross country availability of I-40 makes us a key point in stopping human trafficking going from south of the border and going from west over to the East Coast.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
And I'm glad you brought that up because everybody in this state should realize every other state in this country looks to the TBI on their human trafficking effort. It is a leader in that. And Josh and Director Roush and that whole team over there, the more I've learned about this, Matt, I'm just been blown away by how much they care about it. And that's the other thing about this event. I want the community to kind of wrap their arms around our heroes and our people in law enforcement that are just fighting so hard to get these people off the streets and to protect our kids. I think that's really important.
Well, and witnessing some of the worst of humanity and some of the best of humanity simultaneously.
Exactly.
Right?
100%. Yep.
Well, listen, I want folks to come out, have a great time. It's a week from tomorrow.
Yep. It's
free to the public.
Free to the public. Doors are at 6. Music starts at 7. Like I said, Chris Jansen's going to be the headliner. He's one of the best entertainers in country music. And if you go to spiritofthecountry.com, you just click there, sign up. And by the way, even if you don't want to go to the show, but you want to be a part of this effort, I would love to hear from you, and also just love to hear from people's their ideas on what to do here.
Spiritofthecountry.com.
Yep, that's it.
And while we have you here, you brought up the June event.
Yes, sir.
That is coming up on Fox, right?
Yeah, so June 6th on Fox, and that's how this all got started. Was the original Spirit of the Country Uniting to Save Lives concert. It was with the United States DEA. There were 60 countries that came in for that, and it involves artists from all over the world. So you had like Phoenix from France. Was involved, Måneskin from Italy, BTS from Korea, all incredible acts from here. Shout out to a new act named Madden Novogratz. She's absolutely amazing. Jared Neiman, and then country stars like Ella Langley and Cody Johnson and Old Dominion provided features so that to get the word out. So,
oh, man. Good. No, it's going to be great. That's June 6th?
That's June 6th. And then the whole tour will then start. And we're going to Richmond, Kentucky, which is Madison County, which is kind of an epicenter of the fentanyl epidemic. And we're also going to Huntington, West Virginia, kind of the same. We'll do a stopover in Liverpool at George Harrison's house to give a shout out to the guy who really came up with concert, blending music and kind of saving lives.
You're doing a show from George Harrison's house?
You're welcome to come, Matt. I'll put you on cowbell. By the way, if I get you at a show, what is your instrument?
My goodness.
What is your instrument?
I play the toilet brush.
Okay.
So I'll scrape a toilet brush across a drum.
Well, we can find somewhere.
I am adjacent to, Stokes, you're good enough. Being in the room with you, but when you tell me you're going to be in George Harrison's house, that's rock and roll royalty.
Well, that's one of the things about this, Matt, that's really been special is how people around the world, because by the way, it's not just us that's going through this. You got people in Southeast Asia that these cartels are like putting synthetics in cartridges of vapes, and killing these kids. Everybody kind of wants to address it. So I think this is one of the few places of what I would call absolute unity, where people just go, okay, well, we draw the line when people are trying to kill our kids and trying to traffic our kids.
Well, and you said it at the beginning, and kind of to wrap it up, that the fentanyl crisis that you've worked so hard to draw awareness toward, and the human trafficking crisis, there's so many parallels.
It's hand in hand.
And they walk those same roads, and they traffic in those same shadows. And we've got to shine the light on those shadows.
Exactly. And many times, Matt, it's the same group that have two different arms. One is for drugs, one is for human trafficking. So, and I really want to thank 99.7 for having me on. Y'all are, when I started doing this, I was really heartened by the fact that my community supported me. And that got me through some times where I didn't even have funding. I didn't even, and it was going on passion. And now we're at a very different place right now.
Well, Stokes, I'll tell you this, that, doing these types of things, it gives me the ability to scream and yell about politics, and I can do that till the cows come home. But if we're not,
And you're good at it.
Well, thank you. But look, and those things are important too, I think. But if we can't do these sorts of things, if we can't draw awareness to where the rubber meets the road when it comes to our children, when it comes to protecting them from drugs or protecting them from people that want to do them harm, then I don't know what we're doing. And I would never want to do the other without doing this, because this is the really important stuff. You're doing such great work and such hard work, because I understand. Look, I understand that people don't want to believe that it's going on, but it's going on, and we need to face it so that we can end it.
God bless you, man.
Man, I appreciate you. There's Stokes Nielsen. Not tomorrow, but next week, go to spiritofthecountry.com and sign up. Free concert.
Free concert Wednesday, May the 20th. Free concert. Williamson County Performing Arts Center. Also want to thank Williamson County for being so great to us.
Thank you, Stokes.
All right.
There's Stokes Nielsen. We'll be back in just a moment, 54 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Bro, you are so good.
If you're talking with someone in the health insurance industry and they start harping on the idea of open enrollment, you know what you need to do? You need to close that. Be nice. Shut that conversation down. Go ahead and make the telephone call or schedule the appointment with Shane Ring and Cover Nash, because let me advise you that you are talking to the wrong folks if they're harping on this idea of, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, or whatever. Friends, open enrollment is a concept that was developed by people that don't want you to have choices when it comes to your health insurance. Shane Ring is all about choices when it comes to your health insurance. Over 75 different programs and plans are available to you in the state of Tennessee. Are you getting the best? Are you getting the most for your health insurance? Do you know? If you don't, call your personal health care concierge. That's Shane Ring and Cover Nash. 615-465-0023, 465-0023, or online at covernash.com.
5 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. When asked whether the president considers Americans' financial situations when making decisions about the war in Iran, President Trump said today he doesn't because he says Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. The president also answered a question from ABC's Karen Travers about his economic policies.
The president promised to bring inflation down. It's now at its highest level in 3 years. Are your policies not working? What's happening?
Policies are working incredibly. If you go back to just before the war, for the last 3 months, inflation was at 1.7%. Now, we had a choice. Let these lunatics have a nuclear weapon. If you want to do that, then you're a stupid person, and you happen to be. I mean, I know you very well.
The inflation rate hasn't gone below 2% since Trump's first term. More from ABC's Elizabeth Schulze, who's looking at today's inflation report.
This inflation report shows that prices are going up overall at the fastest pace now in 3 years. That 3.8% inflation rate, a lot of that driven by the spike in gas and energy that we've seen since the start of the Iran war. So that rate, that 3.8% rate, we have not seen inflation been going up at this pace since May of 2023.
And we're getting a new look at how much debt Americans are carrying from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Here's Mike Nabusky.
Credit card debt in the U.S. dipped slightly in the first 3 months of the year, according to the New York Fed, with outstanding card balances now at $1.25 trillion. But analysts say decreases like this usually happen in the first quarter as people pay off holiday spending. Overall, credit card debt is up over $70 billion from last year. When you add in mortgages, car loans, and other borrowing, the debt held by U.S. households now sits at $18.8 trillion, its highest level ever. Mike Nabusky, ABC News.
Here in Middle Tennessee, News Channel 5 says a proposed Clarksville budget is sparking debate over taxes in classrooms. Mayor Joe Pitts says a 31-cent property tax increase is needed to pay for roads, public safety, city workers. At the same time, he says they need to reduce city support for schools to the legal minimum. School officials say the timing could mean cuts unless county leaders step in. And the Justice Department's filed criminal charges against 2 foreign companies and 1 employee associated with that massive ship that destroyed Baltimore's Key Bridge in 2024, killing 6 people.
The Justice Department says when the Dolly suffered a power outage, its fuel pump generators could not restart in time for the ship to avoid the Key Bridge.
We allege that the possibility of such a catastrophic power failure should have been no surprise to Synergy.
The Justice Department's Adam Gustafson says that's because Synergy, the ship's operator, and its technical operator were using improper fuel pumps and lied about it to the Coast Guard. Synergy says the NTSBs concluded that Synergy and its crew were not the causes. Brian Clark, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. So is traffic. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Crashes, Glencliff, left lane block, 24 eastbound at Briley Parkway. Capitol View, 40 eastbound near Church Street. West End, 440 westbound at exit 1. South Loop, 40 eastbound at 4th, exit 210C. Bicentennial Mall, Jefferson Street at 7th Avenue North. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, just after 5 o'clock, 6 minutes past to be precise. Thank you for being with us on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I appreciate your time and consideration, whatever you're able to give us. We love having you here. If you're just getting off work, we'll try to treat you well until you get home this evening. Once again, the telephone number is 615-737-9986, and we'll get to some of your calls coming up in just a couple of minutes. You can also hit us up on the super text line, the same telephone number. And, of course, I'm on all the social media platforms, at Matt Murphy Show, at Matt Murphy Show on the X machine. That's primarily where I reside. It is a cesspool. It is an awful place full of awful people saying awful things about awful subjects, and I absolutely love it. I just lay down in it and wallow about in it. If you think I'm mean on the radio, you should see me on the old Twitter handle. And remember, as I always like to tell you, buzz to tweeting is drunk tweeting. Speaking of tweeting, I saw this, and this has to be a troll. Has to be a troll. A woman by the name of Mary, who goes, let me see, how many followers? Mary's got a good amount she's a content creator. She's got about 7,000 followers on the X machine. And she writes this, and I got to tell you, I'm not a fan. This is what Mary writes. Some guy tipped me $10 in quarters, and I'm still trying to figure out what kind of person thinks this is acceptable. I just finished a DoorDash order, and he casually mentioned that he forgot to tip on the app, which, fine, not ideal, whatever. He then dramatically pulls out a roll of quarters like he's handing me the crown jewels. He looks me dead in the eye and says, "Sorry, I didn't tip on the app. This is all I've got." And then Mary goes on to say, "Yeah, thanks. I love holding a handful of coins like it's 1998. I don't use change. I'm not a parking meter. I'm not walking around with rolls of quarters or dumping them into a Coinstar just to get the money I already earned." It's a tip, lady. Anyway, I took it because arguing over coins isn't how I plan to spend my day, but that doesn't make it okay. Tipping in quarters is peak absurdity. Tip in the app, tip with bills, tip digitally, literally anything that doesn't involve me schlepping around loose metal. Acting like this is normal is pure comedy. And yes, no one should ever think a pocket full of coins counts as a tip. I want to know, who this person thinks they are. Now, I understand that it's not an ideal situation if you work primarily for tips, and I don't know how DoorDash works. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. I don't know is your mic on, Jackson? Do you know? If
it is now.
Oh, it is. Oh, there it goes. Okay, good. That's wonderful. I didn't know if he left it up in there because Ryan had to run to the little producer's room. You DoorDash?
Occasionally.
Do you know how many times I've DoorDashed?
Once.
0.
Never, not once.
I have never used, what are the others? None of them. I've never used any.
Postmates,
Nope.
Uber Eats.
Nope. Nope. None of it. I've had Chinese delivered. I've had pizza delivered. But that's a rarity. Anyway, just go ahead and call me an old boomer. That's fine. I'm not really a boomer, but you can call me that.
You're just old.
What is typical tipping procedure with DoorDash or one of these delivery places?
It's just got an option at the bottom. You pick one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If you forgot to tip on the app, would you tip cash?
It's hard to forget. Like, it's in your face.
Yeah.
You have to, select to not tip.
I mean, so this lady is probably upset because she knows that the person intentionally tipped her change because they wanted to tip her change.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I could understand if this...
How much was it?
It was $10.
Oh, that's fine.
It was rolled, which I think makes it perfectly acceptable.
Can't you take that to the bank and they'll give you a...
Yeah, you can give you a $10 bill. Yeah, I mean, I think it... So if this person was just handed a big old handful, wad full of quarters, I can understand how they might be a little annoyed. But you got handed a roll full of quarters.
And you can go to pretty much any establishment and say, hello, here is a roll. You can pay with it.
Yeah, of course you can.
Take it to a fist fight.
You can take it to a fist fight, as Ryan says, if you so desire. I don't know.
Put it in a sock.
I just, I genuinely feel like, did you just visually show us what hitting somebody with a sock full of quarters would look like?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. And you don't have to do a lot. That was the beauty of the sock, right? Mm-hmm. The weight of the change will extend the cotton fabric of the sock, and it kind of gives it an extra little oomph when it pops you around the side of the head.
You ever been hit with a sock full of quarters?
I have not. How about yourself?
No. Murphy mess around?
Maybe.
We come in here tomorrow for the show, and we each got black eyes.
I mean, this person seems to be complaining quite a bit over the idea of having quarters presented to them as a tip. Donald Trump, speaking before he left for China, had a few things to say about the state of gasoline in the United States of America. He also had a couple of things to say about this question.
So what happened is we have a ballroom that's under budget. It's going up right here. I've doubled the size of it because we obviously need that. And we're right now on budget, under budget, and ahead of schedule. I doubled the size of it, you dumb person. It's double the size. You are not a smart person. Right over here. Wait a minute. Right over here. And based on a lot of things that have happened over the last year, we doubled the size of the ballroom. So we're going to have a ballroom that's appropriate for the White House. We doubled the size. The ballroom now is ahead of schedule, and it's a little bit under budget, depending on the finishes.
I just love he said, we doubled the size, you dumb person. You're very stupid. You're not very smart.
Thought he might have slipped a curse word in there for a second.
I think he thought about it, and he decided against it. But he also said during that same media scrum, I call it a turkey gobble, because he'll answer a question, and then when he wants in it, that's what that's the people, right? They go, and finally one gets through, and he answers another question. I wonder, is it all right to suggest that the people criticizing the amount that we're paying in gasoline is the responsibility of the President of the United States of America? What Donald Trump said today is that, and I played that clip. I thought I had pulled the other clip up, but I'm going to get it to you. He says, he goes, yeah, most of the American people understand and respect the reason why gasoline is what it is. And they understand long term that they're getting something for what they're paying for the short-term pain at the pump. And I don't know that Donald Trump is better than any modern elected official, in my estimation, of reading the room and understanding where his base is on a subject and understanding how to exploit the weaknesses of others' arguments. He is a master politician in that respect. At the same time, he is not infallible when it comes to reading the room. And I think he's reading the room wrong on the gasoline price issue. Your thoughts, 615-737-9986. In the meantime, the Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton, has just made an announcement regarding what the punishments will be for the shenanigans engaged in during the special session of the Tennessee General Assembly. I'm going to read this letter that was just released, an hour ago? Well, less than an hour ago. 45 minutes ago, I first saw this on social media platforms. Have you seen this, Ken?
I'm looking for it.
State of Tennessee, Cameron Sexton, Speaker of the House of Representatives, May 12, 2026. That's today. This is addressed to Leader Karen Camper. I'm about to post this up on the X machine as well. Dear Leader Camper, due to actions taken by members of the Democratic caucus during the second extraordinary session of the 114th General Assembly, aimed at disrupting the democratic and legislative processes and creating disorder on the House floor, including but not limited to interlocking arms in the well of the House, blocking aisles on the House floor, instigating and encouraging disruptions of the legislative process in coordination with paid protesters and attendees in the gallery, including the distribution of earplugs to a member of your caucus, the use of prohibited props and noisemakers on the House floor, demonstrating a lack of respect toward members seeking recognition to speak on legislation, and flagrant disregard for the permanent rules of order of the House. Members of the Democrat caucus will receive individual letters removing them from all standing committees and subcommittees of the House, except where membership is required pursuant of Rule 65 of the House Rules. Sincerely, Cameron Sexton, Tennessee, Speaker of the House. That letter is the definite. Let me condense that letter for you, for those of you in Aniana that are a little bit confused. Cameron Sexton has just looked at members of the Democratic Party that were willing to flaunt the rules and exploit them and break them. And he has just said to them, F-A-F-O. That's what he said to them. Fool around and find out.
Got to go to the kiddie pool now.
And they have. The Speaker of the House has just removed all elected Democrats from all committees outside of those that he constitutionally is bound to allow them to present themselves in front of. They are not entitled to be on committees. And if they cannot comport themselves with the rules of the body agreed to by the members of the body, then they do not belong on the committee. Good for him. And by the way, while we're talking about good for people, for those of you that are anti-Governor Bill Lee, and I know that there are a considerable number of you that don't like Governor Bill Lee, and you're still mad at him about some of the activities that went on during COVID and whatnot, how about a little kudos to Governor Bill Lee? For those of you calling Bill Lee a rhino, and many of you do, I don't use the term. I like Governor Bill Lee. I mean, obviously, there are certain things I'm not going to agree with him on. There are other things that I'm going to agree with him on. I've sat down with the man, and I think he has done some good for the state of Tennessee, and he's done some not so good for the state. I mean, I'm not here to dissect his full 8 years, because I think it is untoward of me to do so, considering that I wasn't here for the full term. So it's more difficult for me to experience that which you experienced. All that to say, I do believe he deserves plenty of congratulations for his immediate call for the special session. Without Governor Bill Lee, none of this would happen. Without Governor Bill Lee, we would not be talking about the possibility of 9 Republican representatives going to Washington, D.C. in the next legislative session in Washington in the House of Representatives, as opposed to 8 with the lone Democrat coming from Shelby County and the greater Memphis area. It is 20 after the hour. Your thoughts? Once again, Cameron Sexton just released a letter to the leader of the minority party in the state of Tennessee's General Assembly in the House of Representatives, stating that all Democrats who participated in the antics on the House floor during the special session will be removed from their committee assignments. Good for you, Cameron. It is 20 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for U.S. Pest. J.K. and Erica Brister are great Americans. They're great Tennesseans. They love this country, and they hate bugs. That's what it's all about, eliminating those little communist pests that want to come onto your property and take what's yours. I mean, that's what it's all about, folks. They want your AC. They want your food. They want the luxuries that you've worked so hard to provide for you and the family, and they don't want to pay for it. They just want to enjoy what is yours, and you need to eliminate that. Besides, they bring disease and pestilence and all manner of other things with them when they come onto your property. If you're concerned about roaches or ants or spiders or ticks or fleas or brown recluses or whatever it might be, it's time to get U.S. Pest in your life. If you're unsatisfied with your current pest control company, call U.S. Pest today. Now, you can start that journey by going to uspest.com, uspest.com, or better yet, give them a call at 590-1260, 590-1260 for our friends at the one and only U.S. Pest.
Well, as you heard Brother Murphy say, Democratic state lawmakers getting punished for outbursts during the special legislative session. President Trump asked today if he considers Americans' financial situations when it comes to the war in Iran. We'll let you hear what he says. Also, we have the latest data on inflation. These stories and more coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Many of you commenting on the latest news reported by Ken Weaver, discussed by yours truly, Matt Murphy, and the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Cameron Sexton, the Speaker of the House, is coming down fast and hard on the Democrats who saw fit not to follow the rules. And just understand something. This was not a one-off. This was not some emotional response to a frustrating situation for Democrats. They coordinated this. They coordinated their outfits. They coordinated their response. They coordinated when they would respond, and they did so in unison. This was a conspiracy to violate the rules of the body, to besmirch the body of the House of Representatives and the General Assembly. And I assume they understood that reprisals would be coming. I mean, after all, what are the rules for? What are the rules for? When Democrats could not keep quiet on the floor of the House of Representatives when the Bullhorn Trio got all of that national publicity. Remember that? When they used artificial noisemakers on the floor of the body. They at the time said that the Speaker, Cameron Sexton, was trying to shut down the democratic process and violate their free speech rights. What is the alternative to having these rules in place as voted on by the members of the House of Representatives? What's the alternative? No rules? What would Democrats have? A free-for-all? Where members of the gallery can interrupt and disrupt the proceedings at their whim, where there are no rules as to how House of Representative members will comport themselves on the floor, where they can bring artificial noisemakers and megaphones and whatever they want to bring, and they can do whatever they want to do to shout the opposition side down. Is that what we want? Is that what we want? Where they can act like children with wild abandon, with no expectation that they will be punished for their actions? Or would you expect the duly elected members of the House of Representatives to act in a fashion consistent with the decorum of the body? Representative Afton Bain, who is a child, and I say that not because she's younger and not because, obviously, I have great respect for so many female leaders in the state of Tennessee and female leaders across the United States of America. Afton Bain is a female. She is no leader. And I say that as someone who's had her on my show multiple times. I would have her back again if she so desired. I invited her to come on in the aftermath of the special session. She has not returned my texts nor my call. But her response to being removed was, LOL, the Agriculture Committee was really going to stifle my summer plans. I was proud to stand with the Tennessee Democrats last week against the unconstitutional and illegal power grab. Well, unconstitutionality will be determined by the courts, ma'am. Illegality will be determined by the courts. What was certain is that you and your fellow Democrats were out of order and were knowingly and in a conspiratorial fashion violating the rules, and you got to be punished. I expect you to act like adults. And if you are frustrated with being in the minority, I understand that. If you're frustrated with not having the power to do anything to make change, I understand that too. You know what your recourse is in a democratic society? Go win elections. Win elections. Compete. Compete in the arena of ideas. Compete by letting the people of the state of Tennessee or your individual district know where you are on issues and why you better represent them than the opposition. Compete. Win elections. And then you get to set the rules. Then you have the power. Compete. But they don't want to compete. They want to win. They want the victory handed to them. And when they don't have that victory handed to them, or when they find themselves in a status where they don't have authority to make change that they want to make, regardless of what the Constitution says about it, and regardless of what the rules say about it, they want to stomp their feet and act like children. Well, children have to go into timeout. And House Speaker Cameron Sexton, he has sent the children into timeout. I will expect that outgoing Lieutenant Governor and Speaker of the Senate, Randy McNally, will have much the same to say about the activities in the other body. For those asking why Justin Jones and Pearson were not arrested, that is not up to Cameron Sexton. Cameron Sexton controls what happens on the floor, in the well, and in the gallery, in the actual House of Representatives chamber in terms of enforcement of the rules. Justin Jones knew that if he was going to do what he did, burning that little facsimile of the Confederate flag, which none of this special session had anything to do with the Confederate flag, but, it makes for a good image. He knew to do it outside of the body because that is up to the Tennessee Highway Patrol. So for those asking, Sexton has no control over Jones and his activity in the lobby area. That's up to the Tennessee Highway Patrol, and let's see what happens from there. 615-737-9986. I know what happens from here. We've got the real news coming up with Ken Weaver in the Supertalk 99.7 WTN News Closet B, and then the fake news with Nincompoops in the news. That's on the way on Supertalk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. And right now in Tennessee, Democratic state lawmakers are losing their seats in committees and subcommittees. It is punishment for outbursts during the special legislative session on redistricting. Speaker of the Tennessee House, Cameron Sexton, citing blocking aisles, interlocking arms, noisemakers, protest disruptions. Even a fire was lit. Speaker of the House, Sexton, is stripping these Democrats from all committees, he says, for trying to disrupt the democratic and legislative processes and creating disorder on the House floor. President Trump asked today if he considers Americans' financial situations when making decisions about the war in Iran.
The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing.
President says every American understands. Meanwhile, the latest data on inflation shows consumer prices in April were 3.8% higher than they were a year ago. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze says grocery prices skyrocketing, caused in part by higher energy prices due to the war in Iran.
Eggs are a bright spot. They're down more than 50% for a dozen eggs in the past year, but pretty much everywhere else, we are seeing prices up across the board, including for groceries. A big jump in grocery prices in this April report.
We're getting a new look at how much debt Americans are carrying from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York.
Credit card debt in the U.S. dipped slightly in the first 3 months of the year, according to the New York Fed, with outstanding card balances now at $1.25 trillion. But analysts say decreases like this usually happen in the first quarter as people pay off holiday spending. Overall, credit card debt is up over $70 billion from last year. When you add in mortgages, car loans, and other borrowing, the debt held by U.S. households now sits at $18.8 trillion, its highest level ever. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Glencliff got a crash blocking the left lane, 24 eastbound at Briley Parkway. Capitol View, 40 eastbound at Church Street. A crash on the west end, 440 westbound at Exit 1. Woodbine, a crash, 24 eastbound after I-440. On the South Loop, got one going eastbound right there at Exit 210C. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy, and I want to talk to you for a moment, to you fellas, particularly in the audience, although you ladies listen up, and if I'm talking about anything that reminds you of your guy, you need to get your guy aware of what they can do about it. I'm talking about the Tennessee Men's Clinic. So Tennessee Men's Clinic has been around since 2014. Evan Bass realized that there were no men-centric clinics in Nashville, in Tennessee, really across the Southeast, that would take care of men-related issues, particularly issues that affect men in their sexual lives, in their sexual healthy lives over the course of time. Guys, if you're out of the game right now, for whatever reason, don't you want to know why? And do you realize that you can be back in the game? You don't have to hang them up, men. All you have to do is contact the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and there's plenty of locations to serve. One is in Cool Springs, original in Nashville, and the brand new location in Clarksville. So those of you north of the city, there's a location for you too, and they offer the same quality services at every location. One telephone number, 3 locations, and solutions for you to get back in that game. Is it testosterone? What is going on? You'll find out for less than $100 in your initial appointment. 615-208-9090, 208-9090, or online at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Website, TennesseeMen'sClinic.com, TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. In the meantime, Mayor Freddie O'Connell continues to insult business owners by telling them that if they don't like what their property taxes are costing them, they can bend to the knee and beg the government for money in the form of grants. I've got that story coming up. The Democrats are attempting to swipe the Virginia Supreme Court out from under, the Virginia Supreme Court. We're discussing that today on the show. Donald Trump's in China. He took Tim Cook and Elon Musk with him. Those are a couple of important guys. More on that as the program unfolds. And there's talk of a gasoline tax pause for the United States. I did that. Stickers are back, but this time no Joe Biden, Donald Trump on those stickers. And I got to tell you, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, folks. And in political circles, this works both ways. And you're hard-pressed to tell me that the current administration is not in some way responsible for the price of gasoline, considering that our actions in the Middle East, Strait of Hormuz, etc., have directly correlated with the increase in the price of a barrel of oil. It is up to us to determine whether or not that's worth it. Donald Trump says it is. Donald Trump says we think it is. Donald Trump said before he left for China today that he believes he doesn't worry about the price of gasoline because he believes the American people understand why it's what it is and how it will go down as soon as this conflict is over. I'm not so sure that Donald Trump is reading the room quite accurately in this regard, but as many of you have alerted me on the super text line, I'm not him, and he's proven me wrong before. But right now at 20 until 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN on this Tuesday edition, you know what the real news is. It's time to find the nincompoops.
Nincompoops in the news.
We do it every day at this time where Jackson Williams, who's back fresh from vacation, Ken Weaver, our illustrious newsman located in News Closet B, and yours truly, Matt Murphy, We look all across the volunteer state of Tennessee, all across these United States of America. Nay, the globe.
Nay, the globe.
And we find those nincompoops where they are, and we present them to you. And speaking of nincompoops, Ken, we've got to clean something up real quick.
What is it?
Jackson Williams is claiming. Do you want to tell Ken? Do you want to make your case before brother Ken Weaver there, Jackson?
Yes, Weaver. RJ won yesterday, correct?
Well, apparently.
Yes, that's what we're told.
That's what's being reported.
So last time Matt was out, when Chris Hand rigged the Nincompoop segment in a crisscross Murphy job.
inside Murphy Hand job. Yeah.
I
got. By the way, you didn't ask me how that went. I got the trophy back on Friday.
Yeah,
it was nice.
cool. Move on.
Mm-hmm.
So we let Murphy pick the order on Monday, correct?
We didn't let me pick. I picked the order.
Yes, because Hand won in your absence and your steed. RJ won in my absence and my steed. So I am picking the order today.
No. The rule is, if the person who won in the previous Nincompoop segment is absent, then the picking order reverts back to the host of the radio show.
No.
What do you mean, no?
I am picking the order today.
What do you mean?
I get to pick the order.
You know, this is... Can I talk to Ken for a moment before you go up? Ken,
I don't listen to anything he's saying.
This is my least favorite Jackson.
Brother Jackson is serious.
It's about the integrity of the game.
This is my least favorite version of Jackson. I call this version Baby Jackson.
This is not what Nincompoops looks like.
There's nobody there. There's nobody behind you.
You better look out, dude. We're gonna get kicked off committees.
I am willing to give up my spot for on committee because this is about freedom and democracy.
You're like the Democrats in the General Assembly right now.
There's nothing you can do about it. The order today is Williams, Murphy, Weaver.
All right. I mean, I don't know what to do with this, folks. I mean, we could either sit here.
Well, he does have a point in that the person that was sitting in for him won.
Well, but the person that's now in the position of the person that was sitting in for him is named Ryan. He's in there answering a phone call right now.
But Ryan's not subbing in on Nincompoops. He is just training today, and he is running the show quite adequately, I might add.
Oh, he's doing a great job.
So I am in RJ's place for Nincompoops, in my rightful place, and I'm going to be back in my rightful place as champion after I read this story. The order is...
Hold on. Before you continue, I'm going to say this, and then we'll move on. Folks, all of you that agree with me that Baby Jackson is making a mockery of all of this procedure, we could sit here for the next 5 minutes and bicker about it, or I could just let the man finish, and I'm going to let the man finish. So go ahead, Jackson.
This is what Nincompoops looks like.
This is not what Nincompoops looks like.
You ready?
We're ready, Jackson.
We're ready, Brother Jackson.
Order is Williams, Murphy, Weaver.
We've heard, yes.
Man uses last phone call to call family on shoe before public intoxication arrest. Did you already do this one?
We did.
Who did it?
We did. Who was it?
That was RJ.
That was RJ.
Did he win with that one?
He did. That's the one he won with yesterday.
All right, then I got
Wait a
another
minute.
one.
No. That's your buddy. You
I got another one.
You got another one? You better go quick.
Around 100 hot dogs stolen in overnight burglary at Central Florida High School. Police are now investigating after a burglary at University High School early Thursday morning, according to the Orange City Police Department. In a release, police said that 2 unidentified white males were seen jumping the fence near the gymnasium and Building 4 around 1 o'clock in the morning. After entering Building 4 through an unlocked door, the suspects apparently messed with the ESE bicycles and equipment before going into a classroom and taking around $50 worth of lanyards. The suspects then entered a second classroom and stole miscellaneous food items, including approximately 100 hot dogs and ice cream, valued in approximately $60. In addition, the suspects took an Allen wrench set from a desk in the hallway. These are the worst burglar. What are they going to do with this? I hope they do get in trouble, so at least they know to nip it in the bud while they're young, so it doesn't become something else in the future, said Junior Encarnacion, whose son attends the school. While police look into the incident, anyone with information regarding the suspects' identities is urged to contact the Orange City Police Department.
Son, that better not be a weenie in your pocket.
100 hot dogs.
That's a lot of hot dogs.
How much is $50 worth of lanyards?
Ask Bill.
That's a lot of lanyards.
What do you think? It's 50 cents a lanyard? It's about 100 lanyards?
I mean, that's a strong number of lanyards.
And then an Allen wrench set. What are they going to do with these?
Well, I don't know.
Are they going to make a miniature version of the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile?
You know, you're acting like the Walmart lady that was questioned. One night, I got Vaseline coaxial cable and a spatula. Don't question me.
What were you doing with
Don't question my life choices.
What were you doing with that?
I needed Vaseline, a spatula, and coaxial cable, thanks. I know it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm dressed in a wetsuit. Shut up.
What was Junior's last name again?
Encarnacion. I know that because it's a baseball player.
You say that with a little...
he said gravitas.
Gravitas.
Encarnacion.
I almost got duped into doing this story, guys, out of Memphis, but I don't believe that it's a real story. It's the one where the lady promoted herself as a Walmart district operations supervisor and gave herself free groceries for 5 months. I know this is running around the intraweb, and I appreciate because 2 separate people sent me this, including our good friend of the show, the redheaded stranger, none other than Pamela Furr. But then you have to understand that these knuckleheads, Weaver and Williams, they'll call you on these fake stories.
Oh, yes.
And I'll call, too.
You will.
And so, I mean, because they can't be fake. That's the rule.
Well, that's what you guys did to me whenever I did that story about the old lady with the walker throwing rocks at cars, then running back off in the trees.
She was nude, correct, Ken?
And she was naked.
And it was a phony story, but it was great.
I mean, I thought, man... This is going to be the best nincompoop story ever.
Well, this one's pretty good, too, where this lady allegedly spent the last 5 months walking into the Walmart on Germantown Parkway in Memphis dressed like she owned the place in full regalia and then and with a fake badge and demanded that they ring groceries up for her, and then she took the groceries.
A badge?
But I can't find any. Yeah, she had a Walmart badge that said
Sheriff of Walmart.
It said Tiffany, Regional Checkout Compliance Director. But see, here's the problem. I want this story to be true, but I've looked, and the only place that I can find any evidence of Tiffany Lamar Memphis is on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. And let me tell you all something. If you're wondering whether or not a nincompoop story that you want to submit to one of us, I would encourage you to submit them to me. If you want to know if they are real, look them up online. Just Google them. And if the only place that you're seeing the stories are places like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok,
yeah,
story's not real, y'all.
Yeah.
We got to get a legit police report rolling on these things. So I will not use that story. I will use this one.
All right, Brother Murphy.
A Victorian man who was told to cover his plumber's crack at Woolworths has had his case dismissed. You know exactly what I'm thinking about, don't you, Weaver?
Absolutely.
Stay out of the Woolworths.
Stay out of the Woolsworth.
A Victorian man who said his feelings were hurt after being told to cover up his, quote, plumber's crack has been berated by the Fair Work Commission for filing an unfair dismissal case that wasted the workplace arbiter's time. In a decision published last week in Brisbane, Australia, the Fair Work Commission Deputy President, Alan Coleman, said he threw out the case filed by a Woolworths employee seeking compensation from the supermarket giant for a dismissal that never occurred. For anyone wanting insight into the phenomenon of unmeritorious claims in the Fair Work Commission, they may want to consider this case. Coleman also noted that such cases compounded the Commission's burgeoning workload. Earlier this year, the Fair Work Commission President, Justice Adam Hatcher, said he expected close to 55,000 cases to come across the table of the this financial year, up 70% in the last 3 years. The worker who filed this case against Woolworths said that he was told by a coworker during his shift in very rude terms that he needed to cover up his, quote, plumber's crack, or as Coleman described it, the cleft in his bottom that was protruding from his trousers.
His buttocks.
His buttocks were exposed. He was upset, Coleman said. His feelings were hurt, and he lodged an application alleging that he had been dismissed in breach of his workplace rights. However, Coleman said that Woolworths was not aware of any dismissal involving the man, and he was never dismissed. As a matter of fact, there's no evidence that he was ever asked to cover up his ass to begin with. That's me. I'm paraphrasing that last part. Frivolous lawsuits. This dude is a complete nincompoop that needs to pull up his britches and cinch him up tight with a nice belt. And all of you plumbers out there, have a little self-respect.
The Fair Workers Commission.
The Fair Workers Commission, Brisbane, Australia. Bunch of nincompoops. Ken?
Yes, sir. This here's out of Louisville. Louisville police looking for a man who allegedly hangs out naked at Cherokee Park. In a social media post, Louisville Metro Police said the man is sometimes fooling naked at Cherokee Park near Scenic Loop, and he commits lewd acts before running away. Police says this has happened in front of children. According to police, he's been reported to be seen near Hogan's Fountain, the lower soccer fields, Chauffeur's Rest, and the Scenic Loop area. Chauffeur's Rest. Chauffeur. Why did I say it that way?
Did he say chauffeur?
Chauffeur?
I said chauffeur.
I don't even
Chauffeur?
know. I don't even know her.
Ken, that's just you putting a little bit of gravitas.
What was that guy's name?
Encarnacion.
Encarnacion.
There you go.
People who frequent Cherokee Park said they're staying alert. Catherine Pack, who was walking the Scenic Loop, is quoted as saying, "I don't know if I have seen him, but I have certainly heard about him quite a bit." Pack said she now carries pepper spray and a loud personal alarm while walking alone in the park. "If I'm doing this by myself, if I'm walking out by myself, better safe than sorry." Another park goer, Emil Dobrescu, said he would be taken by surprise if he saw the man, but would make sure the people around him were safe. "I'd watch very carefully to see if he intends to mess with somebody, harm somebody, kidnap somebody, whatever." Police did not say whether the suspect has physically touched anyone or made threats. Louisville Metro PD asking you to call 911 if you see him and to report what he is wearing, if anything, and his direction of travel.
So, Ken, this is out of Cherokee?
This is Cherokee Park. They're in Louisville.
In Louisville.
Oh, not North Carolina?
It's a neighborhood in Louisville. He said Louisville right at the beginning. You weren't listening.
Must have missed it.
Polls up.
Nincompoop. Polls up. That's how we play. Nincompoops in the news. Give us
Vote
that.
for Weaver!
Give us that subtle. You gotta pop that music one more time there. Around. We like to do it right at the end there. Just a little music. Just bam.
Naked man.
Nincompoops in
Okay then. That's how we play Nincompoops in the news. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Vote Murphy. Vote Weaver. Vote Williams. Vote often. 615-737-9986. Hey, before I tell you guys about the Wellness Institute of Nashville, the fine sponsor of the Nincompoops in the News segment, let me tell you something. I learned something today, and that something was that gluteal cleft. Y'all with me? Gluteal cleft. You know what that is? That's the scientific term for plumber's crack. Gluteal cleft. Glutamus maximus. Anyway, just the more you know. You know this, the Wellness Institute of Nashville can save you a lot of pain and concern regarding the pain that you experience in your back and your neck and your hips and your elbows. Wherever you hurt, they can assist you at the Wellness Institute. Medical Bay One is a brand new feature of Wellness Institute of Nashville. Futuristic healing machine that massages your body while doing a full-body laser treatment on you with red light therapy. It also adds stem cell stimulation for tissue regeneration using photons of wavelength for ultimate healing. The experience, you sit in a medical bay like a spaceship, similar to television. Listen, folks, it's incredible what they have advanced in terms of technology, medical technology at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. From Medical Bay 1 to their incredible HydroWave technology, it's all designed to do one thing: help you heal faster, hurt less, and get rid of the pain that you've experienced over the years, wherever it might hurt. Go to painisbad.com. That's painisbad.com. Or give them a call at 615-246-5009, 246-5009 for our friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville.
Democrat state lawmakers getting punished for outbursts during the special legislative session. That story and more coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The Matt Murphy Show continues. One more hour to go. We're going to talk about some fun that you can have with the family. next hour, at the beginning of next hour, in Franklin, Tennessee, or anywhere within the sound of my voice. If you've ever thought about the rodeo, I've got Rodeo Ruth on, and she's going to tell you about some events that are happening starting tomorrow. Very exciting. Also very exciting, some of the activities going on in the General Assembly. We'll continue to break that down for you. Did you know that 42% of Democrats say that Butler, Pennsylvania, what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania involving the President of the United States of America was staged? Y'all know someone died. Someone was shot and killed in the audience. 42%. That's madness. We shall discuss on Super Talk 99.7 WT, and it's time for the news on Super Talk.
Six o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Tennessee, Democratic state lawmakers in the state house getting kicked off committees and subcommittees for outbursts during the just completed special legislative session to redraw the congressional map. Speaker of the House Cameron Sexton citing blocking aisles, interlocking arms, noisemakers, and protest disruptions. President Trump today, when asked if he thinks about Americans' finances when making decisions about the war in Iran, said the only thing he is thinking about is Iran not getting a nuclear weapon.
They're not going to have a nuclear weapon. Now, if the stock market goes up or down a little bit, the American people understand it.
Latest data on inflation shows a sharp 3.8% increase in prices over a year ago. ABC's Elizabeth Schultze says that includes grocery prices from higher energy prices due to the war in Iran.
Eggs are a bright spot. They're down more than 50% for a dozen eggs in the past year, but pretty much everywhere else we are seeing prices up across the board, including for groceries. A big jump in grocery prices in this April report.
And U.S. household debt has hit a new record, reaching $18.8 trillion at the start of the year, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York's latest quarterly report. But credit card debt dipped slightly after the holidays. Overall delinquency rates remain steady, but student loan delinquencies continue to climb. And we're waiting to see if anything comes from President Trump's suggestion of a suspension of the federal gas tax to help Americans. Rachel Scott.
The president now considering suspending the federal gas tax, which could lower prices some 18 cents per gallon.
It's a small percentage, but it's still